we looked at the profile of the buyer of a put option for the most part. So in the previous lecture, we looked at the out of the money put. Let's go take a look at these options again. The out of the money put was at the 425 strike price. Then we looked at a 470 or the 465 strike price, which was at the money. And then we looked at the 510 put, which is in the money. So these were the three options that we looked at in terms of the risk profile and the risk graph. Now, in this lecture, we want to see the differences between a a put buyer and a put seller. And this is exactly what we did in the course on call options as well. So for that example, we're going to look at the at the money option. We can use either the 465 or the 470. Apple seems to be right in between both of those strikes at this time. So let's take a look at the 470. And to buy this option, I'm going to change the strike price to 470. And this option is currently going for about $17. So if you look at the risk profile, that's what it is. And the maximum loss on 1,000 contracts, on 1,000 shares, is $17,000. And our strike price is right here, 470. You can see that the risk graph takes a change in direction there. So our strike price is at 470. Apple's currently trading at 467. And our break even on the day of expiry is going to be 470 minus the $17 that we pay in premium. So 470 minus 17 is going to be about 453. So that's our break-even point for this option. Now we are the option buyer. And the maximum we can lose on this option is $17,000. If Apple continues to move up, then the maximum we can lose is $17,000. However, you can see that we have a pretty good profit line if Apple starts moving down. So the person that's selling you this option has to assume the other side of the risk and reward profile. So like we did in the call options, all we need to do is change this buy to a sell, and you can immediately see that the risk profile just gets inverted. So because we had a limited loss on the upside, if you just look at the previous one, we have a limited loss on this side. The seller of this option is going to have a limited profit on the same side. So if Apple continues to go up, the seller is going to make a maximum of $17,000, and that's what this horizontal line you'll see in the seller's profile. So this is what we are talking about. So here the seller makes maximum profit. However, beyond 470 and actually beyond the break-even point of 453, the seller starts accumulating losses in a very big way, and he has unlimited losses all the way up to zero. So it's not totally unlimited, but the losses are going to be pretty heavy. You can see on this one particular option, he could lose 70,000, 80,000, and it keeps going down until zero. So the losses for the seller are pretty heavy. And so one of the things you're going to have to look at is the margin. If you want to be a seller of options, you've got to be prepared with very high margins. So you can see that in this case, if we were a seller of this option, if we sold 10 contracts of the 470 put and received this premium, your broker is going to hold almost $94,000 as margin. And why does he do that? That's because this particular position has a pretty big unlimited loss profile all the way down to zero. And similarly, you'll see that on the call side as well. If you sell a call, you're going to see a very high margin requirement there too. So this is actually applicable to the previous course, but I just wanted to point out that it doesn't matter whether you're selling a call or selling a put. If you do a naked sell is an individual option. If you sell it, your broker is going to require a very huge margin. So if you wanted to compare how big this margin is, all you need to do is change the profile to a buyer. So if we change this to a buy, you can see now your margin comes down to $17,000. So on the buy side, you have a $17,000 margin. On the sell side, you have a $94,000 margin. So that's a significant difference. And that's why you would never do naked sells. And many brokers don't even allow you to do a naked sell, whether it's a call or a put. And we'll see again how we don't have to do a naked sell. We showed you this in the call options course as well. The way to avoid this and the way not to be concerned about this is by converting this into a spread. But that's again an advanced strategy which we don't want to get into in too much detail, but I can show you what we mean by the spread strategy. We'll do an example on that. So anyway, so this is what the buyers and sellers profile looks like. It's a symmetrical opposite of each other. So the buyer and seller share the risks and the rewards, albeit it's not equal, but they are complementary characters in this transaction. So, there's only two of them. There's a buyer and there's a seller. So anything that we do has to be shared between them in some form or the other. In the next lecture, I'm going to show you how you can avoid this unlimited loss feature. Just like we did in call options, I'll do a quick video on that so that you can understand that if you do want to be a seller of options, you do have some options.